What's up, metalheads? My name's Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to do something a little different today. We're going to take a look at 5 very nice holes. Now, this one here has a nice hole also, but it doesn't quite fit the bill because it also has the perfect top flipper. The knives we're going to be looking at are going to be hole deployment only, but this little Wingman EDC, I just had to show it. This was sent to me by Craig. And this is now officially my favorite top flipper, front flipper, whatever you want to call it. So easy to do it. Love this little thing, man. Perfect size, super lightweight. Don't know. I have no idea how much this costs or anything yet. I haven't done any research. But also, the top flipper is my favorite, but the hole deployment on this is really good also. So this is just a runner-up, okay? Now we're going to go in order from least expensive to most expensive. And I don't think many of these will surprise anyone, but you know, they are hole deployment only and they have some fantastic holes. So up first, the Kizer Mini Sheepdog. This goes on a lot of my list. I love this knife. So good. For a medium-sized hand, the Mini is the perfect size. If you're a bigger person, the regular Sheepdog is just as good. Now they make this in a flipper version also. The flipper version is not nearly as good, in my opinion. Unless you're a flipper person, you know, then yeah, I get it. But if you prefer a hole deployment, obviously go with this one. This one does have a flipper also, but it's removable. You see that hole right there when the blade's deployed. You take a screw out and the flipper tab comes off. So yeah, I would recommend. I think they make them where they don't have flippers at all. So lots of different options out there for this knife. Different materials, different scales. All of them with the hole are going to be fantastic. Price on this one will run you. You can't get this one with this pattern anymore, but there's others. Run you about $65, somewhere in that range. I'll link as many of these as I can wherever I can find them in the description below. All right, so number 1, the Mini Sheepdog. This is going to go down in history as a legendary knife. It's so damn good. So damn good. All right, number 2, we got another Kizer. The Kizer Horn. A little bigger than the Mini Sheepdog. Here, we'll leave these open so you can see the size of them also. This one is another one with a removable flipper tab. These have been discontinued, but you can still get them right now on Amazon. Some of the nicest micarta you're ever going to feel on a knife, especially at this price point. I think they're $75. This is 154 cm, by the way, and this is, can't remember what this is. I think it's 154 cm also. No, N690, N690. But got kind of a worn, I'm going to call it a Warncliffe blade. Reverse Tonto, sheep's footy, I don't know. It's that blade shape. But the hole deployment is amazing on this. The detent is perfect. The thumb flick is just as good as the reverse flick, but the reverse flick is really where it's the most comfortable. Plus the ergos on this knife, this thing has amazing ergonomics. These are soft and supple. Micarta scales are contoured. This thing just feels so nice in hand. Reversible pocket clip too, so it's lefty friendly. So is this one isn't, but some of the Mini Sheepdogs are. You have to look at whichever one you're looking at. This is reversible, and these aren't going to be around much longer, so I highly recommend this knife. It's such a good utility blade. I mean, you get that tip action going on. Just such a good knife. I don't ever see anybody talk about this one. I think some people think it's ugly, but this falls into the category of the next knife, right, that you're going to see. It looks, once you feel it in hand, feel how it feels, you don't care what it looks like at that point. It's one of those kinds of knives. Now this next knife is going to kind of stand in place for a lot of knives, right? Spyderco Para 3. Now this is the premium S110V, but you can get the BDN1, it's going to be just as good. You can get the lightweight, it's going to be just as good. The whole deployment action anyway. And this would go for the Paramilitary 2, the Yojimbo 2, the Little Native. Pretty much all Spyderco's holes are nice holes. They get some nice holes over at Spyderco, and they take their holes very seriously. If you copy that hole, they'll take you to court, from what I've heard. So, you know, you don't mess with Spyderco's holes, huh? Spyderco's Spyderco holes. Yeah, don't copy their holes. Stay out their holes, right? Actually, you stick your finger in their hole anytime you want. They actually kind of enjoy it. You'll enjoy it too if you stick your finger in there just right. Thumb flick and the reverse flick, both equally as good. This is another one that I used to think was ugly. Now I love this knife. I've got a few of them. Ergos are amazing on it. It looks the way it looks, so it feels the way it feels in your hand. If you still have not had a Spyderco Para 3, I don't know what you're waiting on, man. That should be your next purchase. If you're into knives, you have to experience the Spyderco Para 3. By the way, there will be one in the next knife sale, a Maximet version, by the way. Don't know the price on that one yet, but pretty sweet knife. Gray gray G10 Maximet. Has a lynch clip. There's also going to be some Para 3 titanium scales. So there's going to be some cool stuff in the next cell. But we're going to start with the budget version, the BDN1. Actually, those are the lightweights. So the lightweights are going to run you about $105, $110 for the satin finish. I think the coated finish is like $125. Honestly, nowadays they're coming out with S45. If you catch them on sale, you can find them for $150. But if you just want to get one to feel what it's like, go with the BD1N version or BDN1. I can't remember their budget still. It's really good. And there's people out there that have done tests between that still and S30V and S45, and it's not that far below those others, you know, for considering the difference in cost. All right, the next knife is in the knife cell, and bam. Urban EDC F5.5. This variation here at Urban EDC runs about $220, I think. There's lots of different variations of this. They have different ones in stock at different times. I do have an affiliate. I am an affiliate there, so if you do buy one there, it does help the channel. This one is detent perfection. Really is detent perfection. I've held, I don't know, 5 of these now. I've got another one sitting over here. I've had a couple here for the cells that I've sold in the past. Every one of them has just been straight perfection. I mean, the detent's perfect. The ergos are perfect. The jimping's right where your thumb lands when you choke up to that choil. Very nice micarta, extremely nice. But even this micarta feels nicer than that, believe it or not. Yeah, hard to believe, right? Yeah, and just ergonomic perfection and detent perfection on every one of these F5.5s I've held, from the titanium ones to the micarta ones to the G10 one and the carbon fiber one. All of them, just perfect. M390 blade steel, titanium hardware and clip, backspacer. Yeah, but it's all about that hole, right? It's not about all the rest of that stuff. It's about the hole. This is one that when you step up sometimes from knife, say a $75 knife, and you go up to a $200 knife, you're like, it just doesn't feel that much better, right? And is it really worth the additional amount of money? This is one of those that will really surprise you how good the action feels, how glassy it feels on the deployment and the close. I mean, they just all drop just like that. Every one of them I've had does that, and it just feels like effortless in the pivot. They feel amazing. The action feels amazing, and the ergos are amazing. But the whole deployment, man, this is about as good as it gets, in my opinion, as far as, you know, how it feels, how the detent is. Fantastic. The Urban EDC F5.5 has a very nice hole. Very nice hole. Now, this next one has a kind of a, it's got a hole, but it's a little different hole, you know. I don't know if it knows what kind of hole it wants to be, but man, does it work good. It's a good hole. It really is. It suits this knife very well anyway. The Brian Brown Jager M. Very nice hole. Very nice. Deep, deep, deep hollow grind on this knife. Titanium frame lock. These are going to run you, I think, in the 400 range when you can find them. Between $300 and $400, depending on which variation. I can't remember what this one goes for. I still got to do some research on it. This is another one that will be in the next knife sale. Great ergos. This one's a bigger knife, but it's not giant. Just, you know, on the large size for me. But man, the detent is amazing. Amazing. The hole for the thumb flick is definitely not as good because of that shape, especially I'm a medium-sized hand, so I can get my thumb down there pretty easy. But if you got a bigger hand, you may struggle. But it's really meant for this reverse flick. It really is. You can just feel it, just where your hand lands, where your middle finger lands. It's meant to reverse flick, as most of these are. But you can thumb flick. Actually, I'd say the Para 3 is equally good for the thumb or the reverse. The rest of these are all better, reverse flicking. The only one out of all of them that's good at both is going to be the Para 3. Well, they're all okay at both, but this one's no different. It's good for the thumb or the middle finger. The rest of these are all better for the middle finger flick. But, you know, holes come in all shapes and sizes, right? You know, not all, there are no two holes created equally or something like that. Although these two holes are pretty darn close. They may be related. I don't know. Definitely. But yeah, lots of different holes out there to choose from. You know, some holes are nicer than others. Some holes feel better than others, right? The holes on all these are some good hose right here, right? These are some really good hose. So you wouldn't be disappointed by any of the hoe action here. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video and I didn't offend anyone. And I'll see you guys on the next one.